Capitalism forces growth. Consumerism forces spending. Capitalism forces growth. Consumerism forces spending, but you must force yourself to survive. We live in a world spun by the violent torque of two conflicting gears. On one side, capitalism forces growth, demanding businesses expand relentlessly to satisfy investor pockets. On the other, consumerism forces spending, hypnotizing us into believing that happiness is a commodity and identity requires a constant upgrade. In this battlefield where giants raise massive capital to hijack our most precious resources, money and time, no one is coming to save you. In an equation where the world blindsides us into rushing forward, you must force yourself to survive the trap of hollow success, an empire built on shifting sands ready to collapse at any moment. The downfall of global giants within a few short years isn't a distant corporate tragedy meant only for MBA case studies. If you look beneath those staggering figures, you'll find a terrifyingly simple truth. These titans fell for the exact same reasons a single household runs out of cash. Ultimately, running out of money isn't as scary as running out of time. You can always make more money, but life offers no receipts for a refund on time. The trap of mass replication and the miscalculation of time's value. Disaster usually begins with a miscalculated life equation, especially when clashing with a pillar of capitalism, powerful replication, or standardization. Global Western corporations often believe that if they win in Europe or America, they can take that exact model and copy-paste it elsewhere to slash costs and skyrocket profits. Consider the case of the home improvement giant that tried to shove a do-it-yourself (DIY) culture down the throats of people in China. They used a strategy of selling the exact same products sold in America from the shelves to the specific types of drills and nails. The company ignored the fact that local labor in China has a price and value entirely different from the West. In the US or Europe, professional labor is so expensive that DIY is a legitimate saving. But in China, where skilled labor is accessible, being forced to drill into concrete walls yourself isn't a point of pride. It's a job that makes life move slower. The shocking statistic of this failure: this global giant had to shutter over 12 stores in China and retreat in agony. They failed because they sold replicated goods, without analyzing the reality of Chinese housing, concrete high-rises that require professional skills and heavy machinery, unlike the timber frames of the West where a hammer and nail suffice. By offering tools without help, Chinese customers felt they were being sold a burden rather than a convenience. Household economics is no different. We often sacrifice an entire day of rest for low-value tasks just to save a few coins, forgetting that our time has a price. Houses crumble not because we spend money too well, but because we spend life too expensively without realizing it. The corporate fix, a business model pivot, is the only way out. Surviving organizations stop selling replicated products and start selling results. They add end-to-end installation and renovation services to every branch, turning sales staff into home consultants and partnering with local pros to set quality standards. Moving from being a seller to a solution provider turns a burden into a convenience customers are desperate to pay for. The household fix: you must create a time ledger to sit alongside your cash ledger to stop the leak of your most expensive resource. A prime example is spending your entire weekend trying to fix complex IT devices or appliances just to save a small service fee, only to end up exhausted with a high risk of breaking the device further. The fix? You must dare to buy time from professionals in areas where you aren't an expert, preserving your hours to invest in what you do best, or simply to maintain the soul power needed to fight another day. The trap of regret versus consumerism building identity through stuff. The next layer of ruin is driven by consumerism's attempt to construct identity through possessions, creating the trap of regret, sunk cost fallacy, that shackles both global boards and individuals. Giants often refuse to pull the plug on failing software simply because they already spent so much on the initial budget. Operationally, the rot begins when a company pours hundreds of millions into a new back-end system, like SAP, without testing the master data. Tens of thousands of product dimensions are fed into the system in a rush, causing errors. The result? Automated ordering systems go haywire, flooding warehouses with junk no one wants while the items customers actually need are nowhere to be found. The damage hit $2 billion in 2 years. But in the world of consumerism, admitting defeat feels like losing your identity and power. This is no different from the person paying $30 a month for a phone they can't afford, when what they are actually financing is the feeling of not being left behind. We stubbornly pour more money into a dead cause just to protect a pride that provides no nourishment. The corporate fix: apply zero-based thinking. If you didn't have this project today, would you invest new money into it? Cutting off an arm to save the life is the hallmark of a leader who values sustainability over a fleeting image. The household fix: dare to cut dead debt out of your life. Stop looking back at the money already gone. Look only at the money left in your pocket and how to move forward. Stop using things to validate your existence. Use money to build true freedom. Bigness does not mean security versus capitalism's obsession with growth. Finally, there is the myth that bigness equals safety. Western companies rushed to open hundreds of stores in China simultaneously, believing scale would create bargaining power. In reality, bigness became a multiplication of error. A single data glitch was broadcast to every branch, creating chaos. Stock piled up where there were no buyers, while other cities had empty shelves. Reports indicate the company lost $1 billion a year simply due to logistical errors. In the household, we often increase our burdens too quickly because we want life to look stable faster. We forget that growth without a solid foundation is a bomb waiting to detonate the moment side income vanishes or the cost of living spikes. The bigger the burden, the more points of failure. The corporate fix: revert to small batch testing. Surviving organizations choose to optimize existing branches before expanding, using flexible systems where frontline staff can make calls without waiting for a sluggish headquarters. Agility is more valuable than the number of storefronts. The household fix: a financial buffer must come before an expanded lifestyle. You need 6 to 12 months of emergency cash before taking on major debt. If your burden is too heavy, the fix isn't just earning more. It's downsizing your needs to match what your life system can actually handle. Summary: the most expensive asset in a mad world. If you want to survive this world, remember only 3 things. Don't expand your life faster than your emergency fund. Don't keep paying just because you're regretful. And don't buy cheap if it's expensive in terms of your time. The defeat of a global giant isn't just business news. It is a mirror reflecting the future of every life trying to grow faster than its foundation. Capitalism will keep forcing you to expand. Consumerism will keep forcing you to buy. And the world will keep acting like everything is normal. But human life has no backup system. There is no extra budget to burn, no infinite next rounds, and most importantly, there are no receipts to refund your time. The person who breaks isn't the one without income, but the one without breathing room. In an era where the world forces you to grow and spend without end, breathing room is the most expensive asset you must protect. The world won't stop forcing you to grow. Ads won't stop forcing you to spend. If you don't start forcing yourself to survive, you'll end up growing for others and spending for a pride that is never full. If there is any empire truly worth defending, it isn't the success others see. It is the liquidity of your life and the peace that money cannot buy.